But the legitimate toss-up race tomorrow is, of course, happening in Wisconsin, in the swing state that was closer than any other state in the country in last year's presidential election. Tomorrow is a race for a seat on Wisconsin's Supreme Court. It will dictate control of the highest court and arguably the nation's most competitive battleground. That'll substantively affect everything from abortion rights to gerrymandering to voting rights. Everything could potentially have a huge impact on, for example, the next presidential election. This is also the first statewide race we have had since Donald Trump came back into office. It has been the most expensive judicial race in history already, and the outcome is anybody's guess. Joining us now is Ben Wikler, chair of the Democratic Party of Wisconsin. Ben, I know you have not slept in more than a month, roughly. Tell us how you're feeling about this race heading into tomorrow.
I am fired up. I'm fired up because across Wisconsin, we've seen this extraordinary outpouring of regular folks finding time to knock on doors day after day after day, making phone calls to everyone they know and people that they don't know. We've doubled our own spring organizing records in support of Susan Crawford, who's the kind of public servant that Elon Musk is trying to drum out of public service nationwide. She's a prosecutor. She served in state government as a lawyer. She represented Planned Parenthood in a case called Planned Parenthood versus Brad Schimmel. Brad Schimmel's the Republican-backed candidate in this race. And what we've seen is a surge in early voting, a surge in grassroots donating, all the things that you need up against the world's richest man who's trying to buy this election on the other side. So we don't know what's going to happen. What we know is people have shown up in a massive, massive way. And the energy that's unleashed, I think, could transform this election.
When I saw the news at the end of last week that the president's top campaign donor, Mr. Musk, was planning on coming to Wisconsin to personally campaign for Mr. Schimmel in this race, I thought, wow, that's got to be good news for the Democrats. I thought that's got to be to bring the guy who has poured more money into this than is imaginable in a judicial race, to bring in somebody who's got a double-digit underwater approval rating in this country, who a lot of people in this country feel like is taking over the U.S. government in absolutely the worst possibly imaginable terms. I imagine that has to actually kind of energize the other side in Wisconsin. That said, fans of Elon Musk and Donald Trump are probably excited to see him campaign this weekend as well. How do you think that all played out?
Well, this is exactly the question. So Elon Musk has put in about $26 million. That's more than any person has ever put into any judicial election anywhere in American history. The ads that he's funding all over Wisconsin are ads about Donald Trump, saying that Brad Schimmel will advance Trump's agenda. You have to vote for Brad Schimmel if you want to make sure that Trump can do the things he's trying to do. Their goal is to energize the MAGA base. It's not to persuade anyone. It's to turn out more Trump voters to turn out for Brad Schimmel. Now, the other side of that coin is that so many people, frankly, of all politics, especially Democrats, but independents, some Republicans, feel like we are in a moment of crisis, a national emergency in which this unelected mega billionaire is shredding Social Security, the Veterans Administration, the rule of law. They're trying to impeach judges federally. And here he is reaching into Wisconsin to try to buy our judicial system. And so this is a chance to fight back against that. And that has energized people. Brad Schimmel, there's a problem that Elon Musk trying to buy. Brad Schimmel is the kind of corrupt MAGA politician. He's selling. But voters have a chance to reject all of that transactional extremist politics that we're seeing. And if we win, if the supporters of Susan Crawford are able to turn out at such a high level that Susan Crawford is the deciding vote on the state Supreme Court after this, it will show nationwide that no amount of money that Musk can pour in can overcome the fury that he's ignited through his and Donald Trump's attacks on the basis of middle-class prosperity in this country, the fundamental guarantees that our country is supposed to honor to people who serve our country in uniform, that the pushback can actually be more powerful than the attacks themselves. And in a moment of great darkness in this country, I think that that's a light that needs to be shown. And I think in Wisconsin, voters are feeling the energy to actually bring that kind of light in this bleak night nationwide.
Ben Wikler, chair of the Democratic Party of Wisconsin. I know that you are in the throes of it. I know that we'll be back here covering those results as they come in tomorrow night. Good luck to you, sir. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks so much.
All right, we'll be right back.